and this is also probably going to piss some people off, but it needs to be talked about. So if anyone's been watching what happened to the church in Minnesota, there's a couple things that went on. I am 100% a First Amendment person, so if there's anyone and anyone out there who wants to do the First Amendment and protest and do all the other things, I'm 110% for you. But you also have to be aware of civil rights and how laws have been written to protect civil rights. The WAVE Act, which was originally set up for abortion clinics at first, had some provisions put into it to protect religious institutions, which is the reason why synagogues, mosques, and other religious locations are protected federally. And this was to protect both the people who are going to abortion clinics and for those who are religious. So if anyone watched the full 6-hour thing from Don Lemon, you will find out that that was the wrong thing to do. And for those who are camera ops, I want you to be quite aware of this. The liability is also on you. For those who are producers and remote producers, the liability is on you depending on how much information you knew. And this is part of the reason why a lot of times I don't ask too many questions. I just ask for a shot list and that's it. Liability. Let's talk about it. Celebrities sometimes will take advantage of the fact that they have camera ops and teams that they want to take places because they like them a lot or they work with them at a great rate, and they put themselves and that other person in extreme situations. Some of you may think I'm being a little exaggeratory, but I'm not. And there's a couple things that goes along with this for your own personal protection. Number one, going across state lines, be it digital or directly, is hugely important to understand that they have really talked about in the federal crimes going across state lines. And this is not a state law. This is a federal law. So unlike some of the other ones that are out there where it's like, hey, the state changed its mind, or I'm not going to be in trouble, or whatever else reasoning you have behind it, that you feel like you're safe, it's not the case here. This is a federal law, and you need to be aware when you're working with people, both the state and the federal laws, that you can be in trouble for. Don Lemon took a crew with him to Minnesota, and it's implied in the video that he understood what the hell he was doing. And I personally like Don Lemon. I think he's been one of those people that's been out there that got us in opportunities where we didn't have them. And now he's put some people who are in the same profession as me in liability. And it's frustrating because I love this profession. I also love working with a multitude of people. But endangering the livelihood, chances of going to jail, crossing federal lines, and taking the First Amendment and destroying other people's First Amendment rights, not good. And this is an area where if we're in this video production world, we have to be aware of what we're doing. If we know these things are going to be the case, which I've turned down jobs, which would have obstructed the First Amendment rights of people in multiple cases. This federal code right here is very important to understand. It's called the WAVE Act, and it protects that whole situation. When they were in the church, they were protected. The same as you would be if you were in a synagogue, if you were in a mosque, if you were in a Hindu temple, if you were in a Buddhist temple. You are protected to allow to observe your religious rights. Protests in that position and going in that building is wrong, and it is against the law. On top of that, they asked them to leave. That's the thing. When they asked them to leave, they didn't. And that's a major problem. And we can't have this going on. This is probably going to be my shortest live I've done in a long time, but the reason why I'm doing this is if you're going to get hired by somebody, understand what they're doing. And if you put yourself in a position, realize you could be liable and possibly go to jail, obstructing someone else's First Amendment right while observing some of these protest rights, or being a part of it thinking that you're just not liable for what you've done. So just be aware of that. For those who watch this is called the WAVE Act. It's a federal law, it's not a state law, so it doesn't matter what state you're in the United States. This law affects you, and there are several others like it. And going over state lines to get there causes even more problems because you're going across state lines across the board, and that adds extra federal crimes to it. And even in this one, it's even more frightening because there's other laws that are connected to it that could even cause more financial liability. And I believe this one has a maximum time of like 3 years, but it has up to a $250,000 fine. Long story short, working with celebrities is cool. Working with someone like Don Lemon is cool. He made a mistake, in my opinion. He made a massively devastating mistake for those in this industry. It's a ton of fun to do what we do. But we also have to be aware that when we do this stuff, we know the federal laws for this. This WAVE Act was put together to protect abortion clinics and also to protect religious people. And this may end up causing some people that are in the same industry as me to get huge jail fines and things like that. So what I tell everyone to do is look at the WAVE Act and look at a couple of other ones that deal with the First Amendment rights and when it comes to protests, and how for the next few weeks, as people are going to be very, very upset about this situation with the church, you're going to see some protests that are going to go over the line, and this may end up being just the tip of the iceberg. And Don Lemon might be the first one to have a domino effect on this against himself negatively and his team. So just be aware, guys. All right. Thank you for watching the stream. Sorry to bring this one up. This is not my favorite subject matter. I'd rather have had something more fun to talk about. But let's do a quick rehash. WAVE Act and several other First Amendment and Civil Rights Protection Acts are out there in the federal law. They're not state laws. So Fed can prosecute you, not the state. So it doesn't matter what 50 states you're in. 2, crossing state lines when you're doing this can cause more infractions and more issues. And 3, there are subsidiary laws and laws that are subject similar to this that have even more fines or more liability availability to you. And I hope that we don't have any more issues with this and that this doesn't happen again. Peace. What's up?